What is up, guys? Hope you're all enjoying your week so far. This is Crypto Bullseye and welcome back to the channel. So we've got lots to talk about today, so stay tuned right to the end. We've got Crypto Alpha just for you. We've got Bitcoin, state of the market, the DXY, and the total crypto market cap. We'll be looking at the three altcoins I'm looking at buying right now, and then we'll be going over altcoin analysis. We've also got exciting news of a new partnership deal that we've got on the channel, and we'll be discussing that later. So, like I say, stay tuned right to the end. It's going to be a big one. Let's get into it, guys. So let's get right into the episode, guys. And as per usual, we'll start with our trading legend and his quote of the day. Today, our trading legend is the great Jesse Livermore. His quote of the day is, "Markets are never wrong. Opinions often are." Pop me a message in the comments below and let us know what you think he means by that. We'll discuss that further in the episode and I'll let you know what I think. Let's get into the alpha, guys. Let's get into the market update. Right, okay, so I'm starting with the big daddy, Bitcoin trading against USDT. This is the Binance chart on the weekly. So higher time frame analysis. And the main thing is that we've actually broke the 200 weekly moving average. We were talking about how it's never broken, closed and stayed below the 200 moving average. It's only wicked below previously in the past. And the first time in Bitcoin's history, it's done that over the last few weeks. So looking strong at the moment. Haven't closed the week yet. So there's still a possibility we could get a wick to the downside, a capitulation wick to the downside. We never know. So what we want is Bitcoin price to stay above 22,621 currently. The 200 weekly moving average is sitting at. So we want it to be strong towards the end of the week, and it is looking strong at the moment. So looking good on the weekly. And there's two things that I'm looking out for at the moment on the higher time frame. And you can see that we've got a longer term trend. And we've also got a shorter term trend. So shorter term trend, we've actually managed to break, and it's looking like we're going to close above that. So strength on Bitcoin in the short term, and the levels that we're looking at from where price action currently sits to the trend line itself, 23.54%. I think we are due a pullback on Bitcoin. Let's have a look in the shorter time frame, and we'll have a quick look. So you can see in the stochastic RSI and the RSI relative strength index are both a little bit overheated at the moment. So we are due a pullback. We have had the break. We've had the confirmation of the break. And what we want now is the retest. So ideally on Bitcoin on the daily. So each one of these candles is a day. We want the pullback, confirmation, retest, and a close above the retest as confirmation. So we'll be well on our way and at least testing this trend line if we do get that. So that's what I'm looking at in the short term for Bitcoin. If you are loading up on Bitcoin, it's not financial advice, but if you are looking at loading up into Bitcoin, I'd certainly be dollar cost averaging into these regions on the retest rather than the breakout. So we've had the breakout now. We want the pullback now, and we can add some on the retest. So if you are investing or if you're trading, depending on what your strategy is, you can look at incremental small amounts here, or certainly I will be. If it doesn't hold, you put your stops below around about the 21.5 region. So we certainly don't want to break in a close below the 17,880. Otherwise, that's confirming a continuation of the trend, and we'll see further moves to the downside. So that's what I'm looking at in Bitcoin. Let's have a quick look at the DXY next. Okay, high time frame on the DXY, the US dollar currency index, and we know that this has been absolutely ripping over the past few weeks. It's having a bull market in its own right. So we broke through a previous level of resistance, probably going to flip, become support. And like I say, this is the 1 week chart, and each one of these candles represents a week of trading. So what we want is pull back in the DXY. If you remember, there's a negative correlation from the DXY to the crypto markets usually. So when we do see a break of the US dollar, we tend to get a rally in the crypto market. So there is a little bit of weakness on the higher time frame. We'll have a look at the daily time frame in a second. But two things that I'm looking out for on here is we've got a main trend. I'm looking for a big pullback to that. And if you remember, one of these is a week. So it takes some weeks or months perhaps for it to come back to this trend line, which could give a good rally in the crypto market. And that's what ideally we would like. So where is DXY looking to pull back to? If it did pull back, we could stick a Fibonacci on the previous swing low to the swing high. And if we apply a trend line to the shorter term steep trend, we can see that if we get a 618 pullback, a steep 618 pullback to where we are now, that's an area of resistance. Previous resistance becomes support, so could get a bounce from there. If you had a deeper pullback to the 786 over a period of a few weeks, you could be coming back to the main trend. So that's what we're looking out for on the DXY. If we go into the smaller time frame on the daily, you can see that we are having that nice pullback. We've had a 1, 2, 3 lower low, lower close, red candle. So strength in other markets and weakness in the US dollar at the moment in the short term. And we want to see a continue of that back down to this trend line at least, which would represent the 618 Fibonacci. So it's looking good at the moment as far as the DXY is concerned. The crypto markets are rallying on the back of that over the last few days. So correlation is still strong and it is still working at the moment. And we can have a look at the total market cap next. I mean, it's not looking too bad. Total market cap at the moment. I mean, swing highs of this range was just over $3 trillion. That's when everyone was into crypto. That was towards the back end of last year. Then you had the November crash and it went all the way down to 767 billion, just over. So we've seen the higher high, we've had the higher close, and we've seen a bit of strength in the crypto total market. I'll just see what percentage gains that we've had in the market over the last, since 19th of June 22, about a month. We've had 337.67% gain. So from 772 all the way to 1.06 trillion. So total market cap's looking nice. You've had the breakout, you've had a confirmation of the breakout, you've had the higher close. So we're looking at test the previous swing lows now. Initial previous swing lows about 1.4 trillion. And if we want to go back and test this range here, which is the major swing lows, 1.646 trillion. So that would represent a bit of a mini bull market in itself. So keep an eye on that, guys. So guys, as I said, we're excited to announce that we've got a new show sponsor, and that is ByBit. So happy to work with ByBit. Thank you for the opportunity, ByBit. And any of you guys haven't heard of ByBit, it's one of the top exchanges in the world. It's got high liquidity. There's a link in the description below. Should you wish to use my referral link in the description below, you get additional discounts for using that. And of course, it helps support the channel. So here's a little bit about ByBit, how easy it is to use the platform. I use the platform regularly. It is very easy to use. If you haven't used it, use the link in the description below, and it's very easy to sign up. So here's a brief part of an intro video that ByBit have provided, and this shows how easy it is to transfer money.
So you've downloaded the app, opened an account, and want to start trading. You'll need to make a deposit to get the action started. Go to the Assets tab at the bottom right of your screen. Then click Deposit. You can make a deposit of any of the coins listed on this page. But note that the process for each coin may differ. Let's start with Bitcoin. Select BTC. You will then be directed to your ByBit deposit address. Scan the QR code or copy the deposit address and use it as the destination address from where you're sending the funds. Please do not transfer any other digital currencies that are not BTC to this address. The same process applies for ETH deposits. Deposit XRP and EOS with your memo or tag to ensure it reaches your account on ByBit.
Okay, my 3 altcoins of the week. Firstly, Cardano, Aave, and then Solana. So those are the 3 altcoins that I'm looking at. Am I buying them now? No, I'm waiting for a pullback. Am I expecting a pullback? I am. Just waiting for the market to rally a little bit further. And it's all well and good saying that you want to buy the market here and pick a bottom. We all know what happens to people that pick bottoms. They get stinky fingers. And it's all well and good trying to pick a bottom, but we don't know when the bottom's in. So we have to wait for confirmation. And we've certainly had that confirmation. And we've got a couple of reasons for the confirmation on Cardano. We've had the break of a major trend. We've had a retest. And we've had a confirmation from that retest. And now we've had the swing high. So that's what we're looking for in Cardano. What I want is a pullback. And if this is going to indicate a strong trend, I think the pullback is probably going to be like a 236. We are holding the 236 at the moment, possibly a 382 pullback. So we could possibly come all the way back to that down to the 618 and retest the top of this downwards channel on Cardano. But I'm waiting for a retest confirmation and then incrementally dollar cost averaging it at levels of support. So this is the confirmation I've been waiting for. Ultimately, what level do I want to see a short-term break-in trend? It would be the 68-cent level. We're currently trading at 54 cents. So to the next level of resistance, we've got a percentage level of, from where price action's currently holding, a 42% gain. So after we've had the pullback and we've had a confirmation that that pullback's holding, then we can start looking to retest the previous swing low. So that's what I want, some kind of a confirmation. If we get a 382 or a 236, it's indicating that we've got a strong trend. But ideally, what you'd want is a pullback of the indicators, the RSI and the stochastic. Let them have a chance to reset, and then we can go for another swing and let the bulls do their thing. So that's what I'm looking for in Cardano. That's why I'm incrementally dollar cost averaging into my position on there. It's looking like we've held a good bottom here, and price action respected this level for some time. We did have a small dip, but we didn't get the dip below the previous swing low, which was 39 cents. So that's why I'm looking at Cardano. I'll have a quick look at Aave next. And Aave, same thing. We've had the run. We've had the run on Aave. I'm waiting for the retest, pullback of the indicators, and then we can come back and test the levels of between $113, $114 to $119, which is represented by the previous swing low of this move. So that's what I'm looking for on Aave. So remember, don't just FOMO into these moves. Wait for the pullback, wait for a confirmation. Higher high, higher close. Could be a double bottom on a smaller time frame. Wait for that confirmation that that level is going to hold going forward, and then we can move it up to the previous swing lows, which from where we are now on Aave, you're looking at moves of 18%. If we have the pullback that we've just mentioned on Aave back to this trend line, it is looking like a pretty steep trend. So you're possibly going to get a lower trend forming here and a pullback, which will be around about a 618 pullback on the Fibonacci before we retest these moves. That'll give these indicators time to move down anyway in the short term. Last one, Solana, and then we'll do a little bit of short-term altcoin analysis. I'll just go over price action and where I think the moves are likely to move if we do get that run. But we've created a bit of a head and shoulders in the daily time frame on Solana. And you see target for that. Target for that is the next resistance line of 57.34. So on Solana, same thing again. I want a pullback. Let the indicators pull back themselves and do their thing. And then we can look for another move on Solana. So pull back here, Make sure we don't fall back into the channel. Confirmation buy, and then you either want a double bottom or a higher high, higher close candle on a higher time frame, and we can come back and we can test these moves if this head and shoulders does continue to play out. So those are the 3 altcoins that I'm looking at entries for in the coming days and weeks. We'll have a look at some altcoin analysis next. So what altcoins are we going to look at then? I've got BNB first, and I thought that we could address the issue with our legendary quote of the day from Jesse Livermore, which is, markets are never wrong, people often are. And you've got to remember that this is just a journey of human psychology, a journey of human emotions. When the markets are going down like this, people are feeling rubbish. When the markets are going up, people are getting greedy and they're feeling good about themselves. They're flexing all their profits and their unrealized gains before they've even gained them. So markets do whatever they want. They'll punish us. When people are wrong, they don't like to admit it. When we've got trades on that go the opposite way, we don't like to admit it, but it happens to the best of us, whether it's Plan B, El Capo, anyone. It happens to the best of us, and it's just unfortunately a process of trading. So your losses are basically an expense. If you own a grocery, you might have fuel costs, you might have expenses where you have to pay certain things for the assets that you bring in. You might have certain foods that you might have to pay a supplier for. Those are your expenses for that type of business, and your trading losses are your expenses in this game. So use them as learning curves and learn from each and every one of your losses, because that's ultimately how you build your strategy around that, and that's how you bring success to the markets. So BNB first, we'll have a quick look at BNB, and it's made a huge rally. It's made the high that we've wanted, and it's trading above the range that we've wanted. So we've had the confirmation of the break. We want the retest to come back down, and then we can test this long-term trend line that we've been in for some time now, going back since November, I think it was. Let's have a look. Yeah, 25th of November, this downtrend in BNB. So we are coming to test it, but we're a bit toppy on the indicators. So I think that we are due a pullback, give them a chance to have a pullback, and then we can have another chance at breaking that. So this is on the daily chart on BNB. We'll have a look at audio next. And this has moved some to the downside. This is the problem with the small caps, guys. You've got to be very careful with them. If we just look at the move from the recent swing high, you're talking about 93.3% drop on that. So it was trading at its highs of $4.95. $4.95. Current price actions 41 cents. It did actually get as low as 27 cents. So huge gains to be had, huge risks. But these things do move. So if you are trading in the short term and you are experienced in doing that, remember, it's not financial advice. The gains that can be had from here to the previous swing low, from where we are now, you're looking at 55%. So obviously we want to pull back, confirmation that this level is going to hold, and then we can come back, test these levels, and possibly test these levels. So that's what I'm looking at on audio. We've got Algorand next, and I want to see a break of this trend on Algorand. And we're currently testing this trend line now. And what I'll expect is possibly a failure at this trend, come back, retest these levels, and then we can go and see if we can get the break. So if we do manage to get the break, close above, come back, retest, and then we can look for the previous or the next zone of resistance, which is on Algorand, 45 cents. So last one, guys, we've got Immutable X. And again, Immutable X, massive rally to the downside. Currently, previous highs of 468, lows of 66. So this is a relatively new project. It launched in the rally of 2021 bull market, and it's only really seen downside, unfortunately. It's strong layer 2, so it's going to be a scaling problem solution on Ethereum network. So it'll take transactions off the network and bulk them together and add them on at a later date. So it'll help with the issue of the gas fees on the Ethereum network. So what I'm looking for in Immutable X is we're doing quite well at the moment. We've had the break. Looks like we've had a confirmation of that break. Had the retest, and now we've created a high. So what levels am I looking for on Immutable X in the short term? We might have a bit of a retest on this one as well. So first level, $1.33, currently trading at $1.06. So as far as an entry is concerned, in the region of 87 cents to 92 cents, and you'd want your stops below the previous swing low of 77 cents. So give yourself a bit of wiggle room there, about 77, 78 cents. Not financial advice. This is just something that I'm looking at. So hope you've enjoyed the show, guys. Hope you like the new show sponsor, ByBit. Like I say, leave a comment in the description below what content that you'd like us to create next. If you do want to open a ByBit account, use our referral link below. And enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Take care of yourselves. Trade well.